Managing money as a couple or household can be one of the most challenging aspects of a relationship, but it doesn't have to be a source of conflict. Today, we're going to explore how to build a strong financial foundation together. Before we begin, an important disclaimer. This content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or professional advice. Every couple's financial situation is unique, and what works for one household may not work for another. Always consult with a qualified financial advisor or professional before making significant financial decisions. The cornerstone of successful joint finances is honest, open communication. Many couples avoid talking about money because it feels uncomfortable, but avoiding these conversations often leads to bigger problems down the road. Start by having regular money conversations. Set aside time each month to discuss your finances without distractions. Talk about your current financial situation, upcoming expenses, and any concerns either of you might have. These conversations shouldn't just happen when there's a problem. Make them a regular part of your relationship. Be transparent about your financial history. Share information about any existing debts, your income, your spending habits, and your financial obligations. This includes student loans, credit card debt, family support commitments, or any other financial responsibilities. Transparency builds trust and helps you both understand the complete financial picture. It's also important to discuss your money mindset and values. Were you raised in a household that saved every penny or one that spent freely? Do you view money as a tool for security or as a means to enjoy life? Understanding each other's financial background and beliefs helps you appreciate why your partner makes certain financial decisions. Once you're communicating openly, the next step is setting shared financial goals. These goals give you both something to work toward together and help align your financial decisions. Start with short-term goals. These might include building an emergency fund, saving for a holiday, or paying off a specific debt. Short-term goals are typically achievable within 1 year and provide quick wins that keep you motivated. Then move to medium-term goals, which might take 1 to 5 years to achieve. These could include saving for a house deposit, planning a wedding, or building a substantial savings cushion. Medium-term goals require more planning and consistent effort. Finally, discuss your long-term goals. These are your big-picture objectives that might take 5 years or more. They could include purchasing property, funding children's education, building retirement savings, or achieving financial independence. Long-term goals help you make decisions today that support your future together. When setting goals, make them specific and measurable. Instead of saying, "We want to save money," say, "We want to save $10,000 in our emergency fund within 12 months." Specific goals are easier to track and achieve. Write your goals down and review them regularly. As your life circumstances change, your goals may need to adjust, and that's perfectly normal. A budget is simply a plan for your money. When you create a budget together, you're deciding in advance how you'll allocate your combined income to meet your needs, wants, and goals. Start by tracking your current spending for at least 1 month. This gives you a realistic picture of where your money actually goes. You might be surprised by what you discover. Many couples find they're spending more than they realized in certain categories. Next, list all your sources of income and all your expenses. Expenses typically fall into fixed costs like rent or mortgage payments, insurance, and loan repayments, and variable costs like groceries, entertainment, and dining out. Don't forget irregular expenses like annual insurance premiums, vehicle maintenance, or holiday gifts. Now create your budget together. Allocate money to each category based on your priorities and goals. A common approach is the 50-30-20 guideline. Roughly 50% of your income for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings and debt repayment. However, adjust these percentages based on your specific situation and goals. The key to successful budgeting is making it a joint effort. Both partners should have input into the budget and agree on the allocations. If one person creates the budget and imposes it on the other, resentment can build. You're a team, so budget as a team. Review your budget regularly and adjust as needed. Your first budget won't be perfect, and that's okay. As you learn more about your spending patterns and as your circumstances change, your budget should evolve. Schedule monthly budget reviews to see how you're tracking and make any necessary adjustments. One of the most common questions couples face is whether to combine their finances completely, keep everything separate, or use a hybrid approach. There's no single right answer. The best approach depends on your circumstances, preferences, and what works for your relationship. Let's look at fully joint accounts first. With this approach, all income goes into shared accounts, and all expenses come from those accounts. The main advantage is complete transparency and simplicity. Everything is visible to both partners, which can strengthen trust and make budgeting straightforward. This approach works well when both partners have similar financial habits and values, and when there's complete trust and open communication. However, fully joint accounts can have drawbacks. Some people feel they lose financial independence or autonomy. If one partner is a spender and the other is a saver, conflicts can arise. There's also less privacy for personal purchases, which some couples find uncomfortable. The opposite approach is keeping finances completely separate. Each partner maintains their own accounts, and you split shared expenses according to an agreed formula. This might be 50-50 or proportional to income. The advantages include maintaining financial independence, clear boundaries, and personal freedom to spend your own money as you choose. This can work well when partners have very different financial styles or when entering a relationship later in life with established financial patterns. The challenges with separate accounts include the complexity of tracking who owes what, potential for inequality if incomes differ significantly, and less transparency, which might create trust issues. It can also feel less like a partnership to some couples. Many couples find success with a hybrid approach. This typically involves having a joint account for shared expenses and savings goals, while each partner also maintains a personal account for individual spending. Income might be split, with a percentage going to the joint account and the remainder staying in personal accounts. The hybrid approach offers a balance of transparency for shared finances and autonomy for personal spending. It can reduce conflicts over personal purchases while ensuring shared responsibilities are met. To make this work, clearly define what counts as a shared expense versus a personal expense, and agree on how much each person contributes to the joint account. Whichever approach you choose, the key is that both partners agree and feel comfortable with the arrangement. What matters most is not which system you use, but that it works for both of you and supports your shared goals. It's rare for two people to have identical approaches to money. Understanding and respecting your different financial personalities is crucial for harmony. Some people are natural savers. They feel secure when they have money set aside and may feel anxious about spending. Others are spenders who enjoy using money to enhance their current quality of life and experiences. Some are planners who want every penny accounted for, while others are more spontaneous with their finances. Neither approach is inherently right or wrong. Problems arise when these differences aren't acknowledged or respected. A saver might view their spending partner as irresponsible, while the spender might see the saver as overly restrictive or anxious. The solution is finding middle ground. If you're a saver partnered with a spender, agree on a savings goal that makes the saver feel secure, but also budget for discretionary spending that allows the spender some freedom. If one partner is a detailed planner and the other is more relaxed, the planner might handle the detailed budgeting, while the more relaxed partner provides input on priorities and reviews the overall picture. Build in personal spending money for each partner. This no questions asked money can be spent however each person chooses, reducing conflict over different spending priorities. The amount should be equal or proportional to income, depending on what feels fair to you both. Remember that your different perspectives can actually be a strength. A saver can help ensure long-term security, while a spender can remind you to enjoy life now. A planner brings organization, while a more spontaneous partner can add flexibility. Appreciate what each person brings to your financial partnership. Major life events often come with significant financial implications. Planning for these events together can reduce stress and help you navigate them successfully. If you're planning a wedding, start by discussing your priorities and setting a realistic budget. Weddings can be expensive, but they don't have to be. Decide together what aspects are most important to you and allocate your budget accordingly. Consider whether you'll save up first or use credit, and if family members will contribute. Be honest about what you can afford without starting your marriage in debt. Moving in together or relocating brings costs like deposits, moving expenses, new furniture, and potentially higher rent or mortgage payments. Create a moving budget that includes all these costs, plus a buffer for unexpected expenses. Discuss how you'll split costs and whether you'll need to adjust your ongoing budget for new living expenses. If you're planning to have children, start preparing financially well in advance. Research the costs in your area, including medical expenses, childcare, baby equipment, and the potential loss of income if one partner takes parental leave. Build up your emergency fund and consider how your budget will need to change. Discuss your expectations about work and childcare arrangements, as these have major financial implications. Buying a home is often the largest financial commitment a couple makes. Start by determining how much you can realistically afford, not just for the deposit, but for ongoing mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and repairs. Get pre-approved for a mortgage to understand your borrowing capacity. Save for your deposit together and agree on your must-haves versus nice-to-haves in a property. For any major life event, start planning early. The more time you have to save and prepare, the less financial stress you'll experience. Break down the total cost into manageable monthly savings goals. And always build in a contingency fund, because unexpected expenses almost always arise. Even couples who communicate well will sometimes disagree about money. How you handle these disagreements matters more than avoiding them entirely. First, choose the right time and place for financial discussions. Don't try to resolve a money disagreement when you're tired, stressed, or in the middle of another conflict. Set aside dedicated time when you're both calm and can focus on the issue. Listen to understand, not just to respond. When your partner expresses a concern or viewpoint about money, really listen to what they're saying and why. Ask questions to understand their perspective. Often, financial disagreements are really about underlying values, fears, or priorities, rather than just the money itself. Use I statements instead of you accusations. Say, I feel anxious when we don't have savings, rather than you spend too much. This keeps the conversation focused on feelings and needs rather than blame. Look for compromise and creative solutions. If you disagree about a purchase, can you find a less expensive alternative, save up for it over time, or agree to revisit the decision in a few months? If you disagree about how much to save, can you start with a smaller amount and increase it gradually? Establish some ground rules for financial decisions. For example, you might agree that any purchase over a certain amount requires discussion and agreement from both partners. Or you might agree that certain categories of spending are individual decisions, while others are joint decisions. If you find yourselves repeatedly having the same arguments about money, or if financial stress is seriously affecting your relationship, consider seeking help from a financial counselor or relationship therapist. There's no shame in getting professional support. In fact, it shows you're committed to working through challenges together. Remember that you're on the same team. Financial disagreements can feel personal, but ultimately you both want security and happiness. Keep that shared goal in mind and approach disagreements as problems to solve together rather than battles to win. Your approach to joint finances may evolve as your relationship progresses. Here are some practical tips for different stages. If you're newly dating or in an early relationship, keep finances separate, but be open about your financial values and goals. This is the time to observe each other's money habits and have initial conversations about your financial philosophies. Split shared expenses like meals or activities in a way that feels fair to both of you. When you're in a committed relationship but not yet living together, start having more detailed financial conversations. Discuss your debts, savings, and financial goals. If you're planning a future together, begin aligning your financial decisions with those shared goals. You might start a joint savings account for a specific goal, like a holiday or moving in together, while keeping other finances separate. Once you're living together, it's time to create a system for managing shared expenses. Decide whether you'll use joint accounts, separate accounts, or a hybrid approach. Create a household budget together. Be clear about who pays for what and how you'll handle shared costs like rent, utilities, and groceries. This is also a good time to discuss and align your longer-term financial goals. If you're married or in a long-term committed partnership, consider moving toward more integrated finances if you haven't already. Review and update your financial goals regularly. Make sure you both understand your complete financial picture, including all accounts, debts, investments, and insurance. Consider estate planning, including wills and beneficiary designations. Plan for major goals like buying property or retirement. For couples with children, your financial planning becomes more complex. Budget for childcare, education, and the increased costs of a larger household. Review your insurance needs, including life insurance and income protection. Start or increase education savings if that's a priority. Update your estate planning to include guardianship provisions. If you're in a blended family, finances can be particularly complex. Be clear about financial responsibilities for children from previous relationships. Discuss how you'll handle expenses for all children in the household. Consider keeping some finances separate while sharing household expenses. Estate planning is especially important in blended families to ensure all children are provided for according to your wishes. For couples approaching retirement, focus on coordinating your retirement plans. Discuss when each of you plans to retire and how that will affect your household income. Review your retirement savings and investments. Plan for healthcare costs. Consider downsizing or relocating if that fits your goals. Update your estate plan to reflect your current wishes. Regardless of your relationship stage, the key is to keep communicating, stay flexible, and adjust your approach as your circumstances change. Managing finances as a couple or household is an ongoing journey, not a destination. It requires continuous communication, mutual respect, and a willingness to adapt as your lives change. Remember that financial harmony doesn't mean you'll never disagree about money. It means you have the tools and communication skills to work through disagreements constructively. It means you're both committed to your shared financial goals and to supporting each other's financial well-being. Make financial check-ins a regular part of your relationship. Whether it's a monthly budget review or a quarterly discussion of your progress toward goals, these conversations keep you aligned and help you catch small issues before they become big problems. Celebrate your financial wins together, no matter how small. Paid off a credit card? Reached a savings milestone? Stuck to your budget for 3 months? These achievements deserve recognition. Celebrating together reinforces that you're a team working towards shared success. Be patient with each other and with the process. Building strong financial habits takes time. You'll make mistakes, and that's okay. What matters is that you learn from them and keep moving forward together. Finally, remember that money is a tool to help you build the life you want together. Don't let financial stress overshadow the relationship itself. Your partnership is more valuable than any bank balance. By working together, communicating openly, and supporting each other's financial well-being, you can build both a strong financial foundation and a strong relationship. Whether you're just starting your financial journey together, or you've been managing money as a couple for years, there's always room to improve your financial communication and planning. Start with one small step today. Have that conversation you've been putting off. Set up that joint savings account. Create that budget together. Your future selves will thank you. Here's to your financial success and to building a strong, healthy relationship where money brings you together rather than pulling you apart. Thank you for watching, and best wishes on your financial journey together.